Good morning. I'm Gary DeWaal, and this is Bridging the Week for April 17th to 21st, and today is April 24th, 2017. CME Group revised its proposal to permit current customers of future commission merchants to become direct clearing members of its clearinghouse without potentially incurring liability for the default of other clearing members. In addition, a major international bank agreed to pay the Federal Reserve Bank $156.6 million related to alleged deficiencies in the bank's oversight of its forex trading activities a few years ago, as well as of its current Volcker Rule compliance program. During this past weekend, we commemorated Earth Day around the world. I remember being involved in the first Earth Day celebration in 1970. So before I get lost in recounting nostalgic stories of that day and many other days since, let's get started. CME Group submitted amendments to its proposed rule changes previously provided to the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, authorizing a new category of clearing membership termed a direct funding participant. Under CME Group's proposal, a DFP could clear all of its own CME Group trades directly with the CME Clearinghouse, but would not be obligated to contribute to CME Group's guarantee fund or otherwise be responsible in case of a default by another clearing member. Instead, all of a DFP's obligations to CME Group would be guaranteed by at least one other CME Group clearing member, termed a DFP guarantor, that was registered with the CFTC as a Futures Commission merchant. A DFP guarantor would not be responsible for obligations arising from disciplinary actions against a DFP. DFPs would respond to all collateral calls by paying the CME Group clearinghouse directly, but their performance bond requirements would be 104% of ordinary amounts. To serve as a DFP guarantor, an FCM clearing member would be subject to the hire of various minimum financial amounts, including potentially amount equal to the applicable CFTC requirements for positions carried in customer and non-customer accounts, plus 4% of the total risk margin requirement for each DFP's open positions that the DFP guarantor guarantees. Additionally, a DFP guarantor's guarantee fund deposit would be increased to account for the activity of each DFP it guarantees, and a DFP guarantor would have to serve as the exchange's liquidating agent if a DFP defaulted. DFP guarantors have other obligations too. According to CME Group, the intent of the DFP model is to enable a DFP to escape the risk of a pro rata loss allocation it might otherwise incur as a customer of an FCM in the event of a customer-led or other default at the FCM where there was a shortfall in any of the types of customer accounts, segregated funds, foreign futures funds, and cleared swaps, so-called avoiding fellow customer risk. Moreover, even if there was no shortfall, a DFP would avoid potential delays in recovering its collateral if it maintained account at a failed FCM. CME Group anticipates its amended rule authorizing DFP memberships to be effective the earlier of June 19th or upon CFTC approval. Eurex and ICE Clear Europe all have equivalent direct client clearing member programs in effect. For details of those programs and more details on the CME proposal, check out the article version of Bridging the Week on the website. Deutsche Bank AG and two affiliated entities agreed to pay an aggregate fine of $136.95 million pursuant to a consent order initiated by the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System for failing to have an effective and comprehensive risk management framework related to its foreign exchange trading activities from October 2008 through October 2013. During that time, claimed the FRB, DB traders engaged in communications with traders from other financial institutions through electronic chat rooms where they disclosed trading positions and discussed possible FX benchmark price fixing, discussed bid-offer spreads offered to FX customers, and discussed trading overall in a manner to benefit DB's trading positions. In addition to agreeing to pay a fine, DB consented to other undertakings, including within 90 days, to submit a plan to improve DB's compliance with applicable laws and regulations in connection with this FX trading, as well as trading of commodities and interest rate products. You will recall that in May 2015, 5 major international banks, not including DB, pleaded guilty to conspiring to manipulate the price of certain foreign exchange transactions and agreed to pay aggregate fines totaling $5.6 billion US, as well as other sanctions to resolve criminal proceedings initiated by the U.S. Department of Justice and disciplinary proceedings by other U.S. regulators. Separately, DB also entered into a consent order with the Federal Reserve Bank for not, since March 30, 2016, establishing a compliance program reasonably designed to ensure and monitor compliance with certain of its obligations regarding proprietary trading activities under the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act and certain related rules enacted by the Federal Reserve Bank, the so-called Volcker Rule. Under the consent decree, DB agreed to pay a fine of $19.71 million US and agreed to additional undertakings. CME Group issued a reminder that all persons who trade on its exchanges submit to its jurisdiction. This requires all traders, among other things, to fully cooperate with exchange staff during investigations, including producing requested documents and answering all questions by staff. Nothing new here except this guidance, but non-members, especially those abroad, are always surprised to find that CME Group and ICE Futures U.S. rules apply directly to them and that they are subject to the exchange's enforcement jurisdiction too. Well, that's all for today. As always, there's more information in each article and more articles on the article version of Bridging the Week on the website. Check it out. I'm Gary DeWaal. Until next week, have a great week and ciao.